Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Renu Tyagi from Sardar Patel Institute, Ahmedabad. Today we are going to talk about the module Introduction to Kinanthropometry under the paper Physiology and Sports Anthropology. Let's see the learning objectives of this module. After going through this module, we'll be able to understand what is kinanthropometry. We'll study the history of kinanthropometry. The various application of kinanthropometry would be covered, and we'll understand the relevance of kinanthropometry in today's scenario. More than 4 decades ago emerged a new scientific discipline, kinanthropometry. It is not a very widely circulated term except mostly in those within the field of sports sciences. Kinanthropometry embraces 3 Greek words, that is kinenin, which means to move, anthropos means men, and metrin means to measure. The term refers to a dynamic relationship and qualitative interface between human structure and function. The recognition of kinanthropometry as a scientific discipline was given by Olympic Scientific Congress in 1984. However, Bill Ross in 1972 was the first to use the term kinanthropometry. The discipline expanded in mid and late 1990s. Kinanthropometry is the quantitative interface between human structure and function. It is acknowledged as the study of human size, shape, proportions, composition, maturation, and gross function, which facilitate in appreciating the growth, exercise, performance, and nutrition. Kinanthropometry forms the base to contribute as a scientific interest to basic research and its application. It is clearly associated to physical education, sports sciences, and medicine, human biology, science of growth, physical anthropology, gerontology, ergometry, and several other medical disciplines. Kinanthropometry involves dynamic anthropometry, sports anthropometry, and physiological anthropometry. Kinanthropometry is a scientific discipline that is concerned with the measurement of individual in a variety of morphological perspective. Its application to movement and factors which influences the movement, including the component of body build, body measurements, proportions, composition, shape, and maturation. Motor abilities, cardiorespiratory capacities, physical activity, including the recreational activities, as well as highly specialized sports performance. The predominant focus is upon obtaining the detailed measurement upon the body composition of a given person. There are lots of similarities and differences among human consequent of interaction between genetics and the environment in which each individual develops. As a result, there are a variety of shape, size, proportion, composition, functions, etc. Empedocles, Socrates, and Hippocrates worked on with these association and came out with variety of classification of an ideal mode for men. Polykleitos, a Greek sculpture, symbolized the ideal male form by means of superimposition of anatomical parts of 20 individual, whereas Archimedes' theory gave a reference for body composition to be calculated from densitometry today. There were Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Leonardo Alberti, all talked of human form but in different perspective type for ideal beauty, and Vesalius deliberated upon the theories of Galeno. At this time, anthropometry surfaced as a new scientific specialty, and Borelli explains muscular work, with reference to physics. His work holds significance as his work is suitable for describing the structural basis of kinanthropometry. The genesis of anthropometry is claimed to be in medicine or biology and the fine arts. Let's define kinanthropometry. There is not a single definition to kinanthropometry, but as it stands defining a particular aim is basis for its complete understanding. According to Ross et al. In 1972, kinanthropometry is a scientific discipline that studies the body size, the proportionality, the performance of movement, the body composition, and principal functions of the body. This so well cited definition is not exactly as it is described as the kinanthropometric method that gives information about principal functions of the body should also be known. The amount or distribution of fat mass or muscular mass could be correlated, or it could be predisposition factor for any disease. The morphophysiological mechanism concerned in classification are big puzzle today. In fact, in practice, few diseases are detected using anthropometric measures and body composition methods at any public health care system. Though the body composition outcome for envisaging health status owing to their relationship with many of the physiological variables is valid, yet this is not built in within the kinanthropometric viewpoint because of the absence of movement prediction probability in those diagnoses. Though innumerable use of some of its fundamental methods are accepted, but then they should not pave way to change the theoretical core of kinanthropometry. The definition even does not cater to some vital objectives of quantifying the body that are indelible part of its frame. Ross et al. In 1978 again defined kinanthropometry as the application of body measurements to the study of human size, shape, proportion, composition, maturation, and gross function, so as to help to understand human movement in relation to the growth, exercise, performance, and nutrition. Kinanthropometry is the science that deals with the measurement of weight, size, and proportion of human body. For Betancourt, kinanthropometry is a scientific discipline of biomechanics that can be defined as the set of theoretical assumptions that explains the relationship between the morpho-functional structure of healthy individuals and their biological potentiality of performing an efficient motion in an ontogenetic movement. Stewart in 2010 defined kinanthropometry as the academic discipline that involves the use of anthropometric measures in relation to other scientific parameters, and a thematic area such as human movement, physiology, or applied health sciences. Kinanthropometry is the area of science concerned with the measurement of human body composition. As a result of changes in the lifestyle, nutrition, activity level, and ethnic composition of population, changes to the distribution of body dimensions are forever occurring. Kinanthropometry is the interface between anatomy and movement. It takes the measurement of the human body and determines its capability for function and movement in a range of settings. Now let's have a look at the application of kinanthropometry. Kinanthropometry, a scientific discipline concerned with the measurement of human body composition, is a meeting point between anatomy and movement as mentioned earlier. Data on number of human body measurements drawn directly or determined are computed to various indices and thus describe physique. It is imperative that there will be inevitable changes in the distribution of body dimension due to changing lifestyle, nutrition, activity level, and ethnic composition of population. Kinanthropometry plays an important task here by exploiting human body measurements and determining its potential for function and movement in a varied and changed scenario. Though kinanthropometry is comparable to mechanistic approach to human motion, that is anthropometry, the studies in kinanthropometry are confined to width, length and girth measurement rather than the changes that takes place in the human physique due to physical training. The contribution of kinanthropometry entails a significant role in solving issues related to growth, nutrition, exercise, and performance. Its application involves measurement to assess human size, shape, proportion, composition, maturation, and function. Its aim is to put the athlete into prime focus and give a clear evaluation of the individual structure status, or provides the quantification of differential growth and training influences. This is so because without having a comprehensive picture, growth of individual and their structural evolution, selection of talent, and monitoring of training would not yield positive results. Therefore, kinanthropometry fundamentally offers the essential structural foundation for the monitoring of athletic performance. Globally, there has been an increasing secular trend in body size of people and among different populations. This can be used as a benchmark for recruitment in disciplined forces as well as for modifying and refining the basic measurement scale for the manufacturing of equipments and uniforms, a domain of kinanthropometry. Though the human body has been studied for ages, the progress from the study of the corpses to the concept of body compartments has been rather recent. Consequently, increasingly accurate quantification of living human physique has been possible. Subsequent to increasing revelation of the precise evaluation of human body, there has been development of numerous theories and advancement approaches that led to the further understanding of human physique, technique and inventions, and existence of the sophisticated instrument with the help of kinanthropometry in concert with the anthropometry, somatotyping, human anatomy and physiology is one of the such method. Somatotyping is the classification system of the quantified expression and description of human physique. It portrays the physical characteristics of the body and defines body types through the analysis of its three components, that is endomorphy, ectomorphy and mesomorphy. Endomorphy represents the relative fatness, mesomorphy shows the relative muscular skeletal robustness, and ectomorphy shows the relative linearity, or it shows the slenderness of a physique. A somatotype of human body is usually given as a composite of three numbers in which each number demonstrates the strength of respective component parts. Heath-Carter method, a widely accepted method using the anthropometric parameter, defines the somatotype as a quantitative description of the various shape and composition of the human body. Hence, somatotyping together with the kinanthropometry has its application in clothing industry by improvising the traditional sizing system or fitting using the structural and functions of the human body. To a large extent, kinanthropometry utilizes the external anthropometry, and it is assumed that these measurements reflect the information about the structure and composition of the internal tissues. Measurements made on the body describes the present status or phenotype, but is important to recognize the genetic consequences or the genetic endorsement as well as the result of adaptation and environmental effect. The development of sports sciences contributing significantly in developed countries is reflected by the growth of sports and physical education of the country. Kinanthropometry is one such science in this backdrop, and the integral approach of both applied and basic science can be utilized in developing the standard of sports and competitive performance. Hence, continued working on this parameter would improve the standards in sports. Kinanthropometry is a promising scientific technology and is fast becoming imperative with time, which attempts to assess the physical structure of individual in terms of gross motor performance. Kinanthropometry has developed into an important tool in the hands of physical educationists and sports scientists to study the size, shape, and body composition of sports person in relation to their performance. Kinanthropometry engages at the ground level in the identification of a sports person. Various kinanthropometric measurements and indices and their bearing on motor skill performance have been comprehensively deliberated upon, paving way for the sports kinanthropometry as a special branch, not only as a parameter of selective diagnostic procedure, but also as a performance prediction tool. In the recent years, the field of kinanthropometry has come into limelight and has been widely recognized. The significance of morphological characteristics of the sports person in the performance of sports event has picked up momentum. It has become almost imperative to study the morphology of the sports person to have comparison with physique and morphology in view of champions at various levels. The physique of the Olympic players can be used as a benchmark for their respective events. But then it does not remain static, as with every new record, there is a change in physique and morphology with positive secular trend, human getting bigger, larger and maturing faster over decades. This means that standards of the most advantageous physique of today may not exactly be so in the future, with no compromise on muscularity. But this does not imply that the continuous use of application of kinanthropometry would not play a significant role. The study through kinanthropometry comes into action in creating the prerequisite and trainable characteristics of sports person and athletes. Certain measurements like stature, leg length, arm length, etc. do not generally change under normal circumstances. Athletes in a particular sports need to have such distinguishing uniqueness that would complement him during the game. It is very important as the success of this uniqueness will facilitate an athlete to achieve better during competition. The information thus provided can be used as a norm for assessing the performance status during screening. The performance in any event of sports is an outcome of inclusive and intricate range of physiological and biomechanical variables and skill traits within different sports, and not just physique or morphology that determines the success. The anthropometric proportion of an athlete identifying body shape, proportionality, and composition plays a vital role in shaping the changes for achievement in a chosen sport among elite athletes. And it is unquestionable that athlete with ideal body type for a particular sports will stay competitor. The characteristics body shape which we observe within sports today are outcome of both natural selection of thriving body type over succeeding generation and also an adaptation to the training demands within the present generation. Kinanthropometry, utilizing the body composition, somatotype, and proportionality, plays a fundamental role for athlete training and selection of the talented person. All three characters elucidate an individual's morphological profile, which presents as baseline for planning and monitoring. Athlete may serve as a reference in choosing talented probable, despite the well-known fact that sports performance are reliant of several factors and winning an event requires much more than an individual player's build and physical fitness. Body composition is the compartmentalization of body weight in terms of absolute and relative amount of fat mass and fat-free mass. The estimation and evaluation of fat mass and fat-free mass holds very important aspect in health, nutritional status and physical fitness assessment. As we know that somatotype refers to the classification of human body comprising into three essential elements: endomorphy, that is relative adiposity; mesomorphy, which is relative musculoskeletal development; and ectomorphy, which is relative human linearity. The link between different body dimension and stature are explained by human proportionality, an extremely vital concern for any person who wishes to pursue the sports. This is so because this relationship is linked with a person's physical ability to meet the biomechanical demands of a particular sport or even playing position within a given sports. It is a known fact that athletic talent and accomplishment as well as propensity for a particular sports depend greatly on the proportionality. Let's have a look at the relevance of kinanthropometry. Kinanthropometry is a promising scientific specialization utilizing the application of measurement to evaluate human size, shape, proportion, composition, maturation, and its gross function. It holds significance for problem solving in matters associated to growth, exercise, performance, and nutrition. The application of kinanthropometry has been comprehensively used in predicting the secular trend in increased body size of and among different ethnic groups worldwide. The standard for the recruitment in armed forces and improving the measurement scale for manufacturing uniform can utilize the criteria developed using research in kinanthropometry. The performance in sports and selection of the athlete represents a critical element of body measurement of an individual. Generally, a person excelling in one sport may not be so in another. For example, a shot putter in all probability cannot give good performance in the sprinting event and vice versa. Number of studies conducted has demonstrated that physique and body composition of athletes and sportsperson are explicit of different physical activity. There have been number of studies that have proved a strong relation between adult stature of an individual and his stature at childhood. Stature is key morphological features in majority of physical activities. It becomes imperative for prediction of adult stature and other physical dimension in childhood as it is of vital significance. It images a benchmark to sports counselor for facilitating the sports problem in making a choice of a particular sport activity best suitable to their prospective adult physique and body characteristics. Consequently, the sports counselor or coaches are in a position to suggest the most suitable physical activities to the sports probable, say, aged 9 to 11 years, keeping in view their adult stature. It has been observed that lot of physical activities are initiated by some of the sportsmen at the pre-adolescent age. By doing so, it would facilitate them to undertake an extensive training to participate in the athletic event. A human biologist domain lies in the understanding of the dynamic pattern of height growth of an individual. Kinanthropometry aids in distinguishing and learning the physique of various dynamic processes. It also answers at different level tissues, cellular and molecular level. The same height is not suitable for all the sports as the distribution of height varies notably to different specific activities. Sports counselor could counsel the young children interest to some other suitable physical activities if they are following some incorrect physical activities. All these corrective steps are probably only if suitable prediction standards are available to sports counselor or coaches. It may not be appropriate for counseling to play an effective role in steering clear of the frustration caused after years of committed training by those whose probability to achieve the required physical status as an adult are only slim. Kinanthropometry's objective is not only to study the variation in various body measurement of different individuals, but also among different populations. This facilitates in appreciating the growth process and maturation in individuals and its linkage with the physical performance and work capacity of the individual. The uniform manufacturers can make use of the data provided by kinanthropometry and somatotyping to give finesse to their pattern and sizing system. The application of kinanthropometry involve phenotypic as well as morphological changes before and after physical training and therefore caters to the relationship between genetic physical exercises and body shape of these disciplined force personnel can be determined. Now let's summarize the module. Now we have understood that kinanthropometry is the interaction of human form and function. It was in 1984 that Olympic Scientific Congress first acknowledged kinanthropometry as a scientific discipline. Although the Bill Ross in 1972 was first to use the term kinanthropology. The middle and the late 1990s witnessed the discipline made its presence and advances further. Kinanthropometry is distinctive study of human size, shape, proportion, composition, maturation, and gross functions, facilitating in appreciating the growth, exercise, performance, and maturation. It serves as a quantitative interface between anatomy and physiology. It centers on individual athlete into objective focus and offers a clear assessment of his or her structural status at any given time and provides for quantification of differential growth and training influences. Kinanthropometry presents the essential structural basis for the indication of athletic performance. Kinanthropometry provides us with the technique of different body measurements which can be used to study the gross size of an individual and equip us to understand the relationship of different body measurements. Kinanthropometric studies are very useful in sports, designing of clothes and shoes, and designing of furniture, etc. Thank you.